Welcome, Chosen One.
Hello once again, fellow Gwenters, and welcome to the third part of my Price of Power, Once Upon a Pyre card reveal review. Card reveal review. It's kind of got a bouncy tune to it. Today, monsters. For the past 2 days, we've been getting the monsters cards. We now have them all, and boy, do I want to talk about them. Now, I'll admit, you know, despite monsters being my probably second favorite faction, I was actually not that hyped for monsters for this expansion before we got to see any cards, that is. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know, when they told us, we're getting witches and Sabbath. Okay. What does that mean? Is that going to let me play big dummies? No. I was wrong. I was very wrong. And we're going to talk about these new cards now. Now I'm actually very excited. Out of the 3 factions we've seen so far, Monsters is number 1 for me. And the first card is the faction legendary for this expansion, She Who Knows, a relic, very relevant. 10 strength, 13 provisions. This is a big girl. With the new keyword, Sabbath. At the end of round, give resilience to the highest base power unit on your side of the battlefield. Whew. Well, first of all, you know, for those who haven't been paying attention, or maybe are just still unsure of what Sabbath means, Sabbath is an effect that is triggered if one of your rows has a total power of 25 or more. Which, obviously, She Who Knows herself will apply 10 strength. So you just need 15 prior strength on the row. You play She Who Knows, you have Sabbath. If she survives, unlocked, until the end of the round, the highest base power unit on your side will get resilience. Very important distinction. Base power is not power. You know, there were some people I know on Reddit when this was released, or this was revealed rather, who were like going on about, resilient Caltalis. Ooh. No, Caltalis has 9 base power. She Who Knows would give herself resilience before giving it to Caltalis. Other good targets for this? I mean, you know, any high power unit. Goliath is also a 10. Old Spear Tip is a 12. Frightener is a 12 with not resilience, or potentially resilience, but with immunity, which would be insane, a 12 strength immune resilient unit. And it's also relevant to a later card we'll get to in this video. So, She Who Knows. It's a big expensive card. 13 provisions is no joke. But coming down as 10 base power, ensuring that your highest base power unit is at least 10, that's pretty good. I think it's a solid stat line. There's point slam. And the thing is, this effect is triggered at the end of round. So when both players have passed. So there's no purifying the resilience. You're immune to purifying the resilience. But the card can be dealt with in several ways. Of course, a lock on She Who Knows. Killing her. Banishing her. Preventing Sabbath, of course. If you can keep the total power on both enemy rows below 25, you are playing around this card. And the card is also slightly underwhelming in certain situations. Obviously, if you don't get this until round 3, it's a 10 for 13. Which, you know, it's not game-losingly bad. You know? It's still 10 points. And monsters can get some very big points with some very cheap cards, including some we're going to see in this video, that I think should be able to make up for the fact that you're maybe paying 13 provisions for a 10 power card. But of course, you will probably try to get this out round 1. Of course, if she does give herself resilience round 1, you will be able to once again gain the resilience in round 2. Because She Who Knows stays on the board. So Very cool. Very cool. So, yes, another situation she would be bad in is, of course, a short round. Because even though she is 10 strength, 25 power on one row, I mean, monsters have many quick and easy ways to do it. But in a short enough round, with a hand that is suboptimal, maybe it can't be done. Excuse me. But the card is amazing. It's a really, really cool effect. Potentially too good. I don't know. I mean, we've seen cards with just incredibly high ceiling effects remain unplayable because they can get heat waved. You know? So but I don't want the developers to use that as an excuse to print extremely oppressive effects and just say, well, it can get heat waved, it can get locked. Although we did recently get a lot of lock cards across all factions buffed, which is good. I think lock is a decent enough mechanic. It's like removal that's a bit more point efficient for you using the removal, but it can also be purified and is actually more counterable, if that makes sense. So anyway, She Who Knows, a very cool card. The art in this expansion, and I told you last video I was gonna say this every time, and I will. The art is incredible. This, whatever this is, everything this is, it's hideous in the best way possible. It's a beautiful piece of art. And yeah, like for those who don't know, She Who Knows is like the mother of the crones, Wispus, Bruus, and Weavus, as far as I've been told, which is cool. They are also relict, so it's kind of a synergy there. Very nice, very cool card. High potential, but like many cards, it can be countered. And you know, carryover, resilience. It is possible to play around it just by using the round system and put yourself in a position where, okay, my opponent can get a resilient unit, it won't really matter as much. And also, if the opponent is playing Old Spear Tip and She Who Knows, you can damage that Old Spear Tip down to as low as 1 strength. It's still the highest base power unit, so it will get the resilience even though it's like 1 power. So there are ways to play around this, many ways in fact, which hopefully will make this card balanced, but not underpowered. Hopefully. Alright, moving on. Some of these images that I got here are a little bit... Okay, that didn't work. Are a little bit smaller. I don't know why. This next one is the common of the monsters set. Witch Apprentice. Another relic. Very relevant later. A 4 for 4. At the end of your turn, if Sabbath is in play, if you have a row with at least 25 or more total power, boost health by 2. This card, I think, is pretty good. Obviously, boost health by 2 at the end of your turn. That's a familiar effect for Monsters players, because the Beast is a very playable card. Has been since it was released. It still is a few expansions later, which is interesting to see. So obviously the viability of this card, if you have Sabbath when you play it, it immediately goes to 6. It's a 4 provision engine, 2 points a turn that immediately goes to 6. Requires actual proper removal, or will just generate 2 points a turn. And how quickly can you reach Sabbath? Pretty quickly. Like, depending on how much you're willing to commit, you can play this on like turn 4 or 5 without having committed too many high-end goals, and Sabbath will be triggered. The card will immediately go to 6, and then like 8, 10, 12, 14 maybe. for a 4 provision card that needs at least 6 damage to kill. Again, it can get locked. Again, 4 provision card. I think this is really good. And I do think, and we're going to see this once we get into the final 2 cards, a relic archetype is in the works. We're getting a lot of relics in this set. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen these cards before, spoiler alert, monsters are not getting a special card. Syndicate and NR got a 5 provision special for the rare card. Not monsters. They're getting a relic. Like, they get all 4 of their cards are relic units. And a relic archetype is in the works. All the cards from this expansion are good. We have some existing relics that are good. And some that can be good if you build the deck properly around them. And then some that are kind of bad, but will hopefully maybe get some buffs to go with this expansion. That is something they have done in the past. Apply some buffs to archetypes that they are supporting with the expansion. And we're getting it all during the same patch. Hopefully they do that. And I think Witch Apprentice is such a solid 4 provision card. In any monsters deck. I mean, you're playing big boys, easy Sabbath. You're playing Consume, probably easy Sabbath. Like Swarm, you're getting a lot of 1 strength units and then boosting them relatively slowly, so maybe not easy Sabbath there. But it's a good card. It's a very good card. And the art. I'm gonna try to not compliment the overall art of the expansion for every card, but this one deserves its own praise. That pig is adorable. It's a giant flying pig. And it is a piece of art. It's like really beautiful, really well made. And that's a gorgeous pig. Like me. Next up though. Rat Catcheress. I've never heard of the word Catcheress. I didn't think we were applying genders to such titles. But it does sound kind of fancy. Rat Catcheress. Another relic, of course. 9 for 7. Whenever this unit is damaged, reduce its base power by 1. But if you have Sabbath, you cancel that ability. But regardless of Sabbath, you also have, whenever you play a relic, increase this unit's base power by 1. A lot of base power stuff going on with this, which is interesting. Base power play was something very often used in beta Gwent. It got really dangerous. It kind of messed up the game, and they went completely away from it with Homecoming. And then they've been slowly getting back into it. With Master Mirror, we got a Veteran, which is a very mild way of adding base power manipulation. And, it worked well. I think veteran units are so, down to earth in their veteranness. Round 1, they are below average value. Round 2, they are average value. Round 3, you get some solid bangers of cards. It was great. And now we have this. So 9 for 7. You want more. Which is why it's good that it has an additional effect. But it's not terrible. Like, if you're playing against a deck that will damage this a lot, you can just play it later. It's not a terrible card to just slam down for 9 points at a later point. But you can play it early. Get some Sabbath. Strengthen it up. And get a really, really cheap Oswald target in your graveyard. Doesn't that sound good? Cheap Oswald targets? That sounds really good to me. That's really good to me. And that reminds me of a thing that I forgot to mention. We can just go back to She Who Knows. Obviously, if you have Igern on the board, it will gain resilience, but it loses armor between rounds, so it will die. So Igern has anti-synergy with She Who Knows, which is why it's really nice to have this potential Ugern, or even better than Ugern, for relics at just 7 provisions. So, again, like I said with the Witch Apprentice, Sabbath should only take a few turns to get, especially if your deck is dedicated to big boys, just playing big dummies, as I think everybody should. Ratcatcheress obviously does apply 9 power to your Sabbath, so you just need 16 points on the row, and then you drop this, and then play a bunch of relics, increase the base power. If you do it at least 4 times, it's Ugern. If you do it more than 4 times, it's a better Ugern for 7 provisions. It's insane. It's insane. And really, for its cost, just getting it to 10 seems pretty good to me. But you can go so far above 10 that it's amazing. And again, the art. Look at that. That's so creepy. I love it. The kids, they are so screwed, and I love it. Ratcatcheress is gorgeous. The card, not the lady in the picture. She is relatively hideous. Relatively. Alright, last up. We were all expecting a 5 provision special card. Most likely organic. No. Monsters. Breaking the mold. But continuing the trend of great art. Ganken. I don't know how you say that. Another relic. 5 for 5. Deploy. Increase this unit's base power by 2 for each adjacent relic. Oh my god. When I saw this, I thought, holy shit. What are you doing? This is awesome. So, really, you just need 1 relic, and it's at least a 7 for 5. Right? And obviously, you're going to play ghouls with this shit. If you get it to 7, then your ghouls are 9, which is good enough. But if you have a bunch of relics, just a bunch of relics, 2 in fact, next to each other, you slap this down, 9 for 5, already insane. It sets up 11-point ghouls. And if you don't want to play ghouls, just resurrect it. Base power remains in the graveyard. If you res this after having increased this unit by 4, this unit's base power by 4, you res it as a 9. Put it between 2 more relics, it's a 13. It's an Ugern for 5. I mean, technically 6, because you need like Offering or Necromancy at 7, and it does give them Doomed. But if you want to play like a full-on relic deck, you can play Caretaker, who's a relic, and he can purify the Doomed, so you can still eat these. Is that something you want to do? Maybe not. Although, if you are able to, like, play this for 9, like, consume it, res it as 13, purify it. Next round, you res it again. Or, you res it a 3rd time with the purify available. It goes to 17. You purify it. It goes in your graveyard. And your ghoul plays for 19 points. It's good to be a Monsters player today. This is great. And I think it's perfectly fine. I don't think this is broken at all. It's just strong. It's very strong. And it's a relic. So you have 2 of these. You have 2 Witch Apprentices. You obviously have She Who Knows. You have the Ratcatcheress. You play the 3 Crones. You can't play, if you want, you can play a Horrorquax. That's a relic, which will summon your She Who Knows, which which is very good. You can play a lot of relics. If you have enough relics, you can play Doppler, who is a relic, and just choose a relic, and he will boost himself by the amount of relics in your hand. Still not a great card for 6 provisions, unfortunately, but could be fun. Could be fun. For those who are interested, other relics that we already have in the game that could be relevant to this, Maruna, as well as, what's it called? Succubus. They are relics. Marilorn, who triggers the Death Wish effect of a bronze allied unit. That's a relic. But I don't think we have any bronze Death Wishes who are relics, unfortunately. Woodland Spirit from the Force of Nature Leader. That's a relic. That is a relic, which can just help set up this in round 3 if you just want to play it as a 9 for 5. It's very good. What else is a relic? I mean, Unicorn and Chironax. Those are bad cards, but maybe they're going to get buffed with this. For this expansion. Who knows? Caretaker, as mentioned. That is a relic. Obviously, Weavast's Incantation, but again, that requires like a full-on Death Wish deck, which you're not going to be able to fit in with these cards. But Wispa's Tribute, the Organic Tutor, that's a relic. You can put some organics in your deck. We didn't get a new organic card, which is kind of a shame, but we have some good ones. Parasite. Yes. I mean, Whispering Hillock maybe, if you wanna tutor a Death Wish unit. I don't know. We have some good ones and some bad ones. I think those are the most relevant relics that we have. I don't think we have any more that are even remotely useful. I could be wrong. I did look at the list of all the relics, but I can't remember all those cards. That's insane. It's crazy. But those are the monstrous cards. Genken, Ratcatcheress, Witch Apprentice, and the wonderful She Who Knows. What does she know? Probably everything. Awesome cards. Once again, this expansion has not disappointed me yet. We are halfway through the factions, and so far, I'm very satisfied. Obviously, Syndicate, I don't actually care that much about, but I thought their cards were cool. You know, NR, I care a little bit more about. And, you know, the new Patience keyword I thought is really cool. I like the new cards. And here, you know, I don't think Sabbath is as cool as Patience, but I think the Monsters cards overall are cooler than the NR cards. But that, of course, again, Monsters is my second favorite faction, right after Skellige. Northern Realms is currently fighting for 3rd place with Nilfgaard. Kind of going up and down. So, obviously, I'm going to be a little bit more keen on these Monsters cards, but I've liked all the cards so far. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of all of this. You know, it'll be really typical if, like, the one card that I don't like of this expansion is going to be the one I reveal. I have not seen it yet. Once again, my reveal is on Wednesday, and I'll probably get the card on Tuesday. So I don't know what it is yet. I think it would be very sad if that's the one card that I actually dislike. But so far, we're looking great. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed another little ramble from me about some new cards. Let me know down below what you think of these new cards. Are you excited to play some monsters and some relics? I am. I sure am. And, you know, some of these cards, especially like She Who Knows, Witch Apprentice potentially, I think those are very playable in a variety of big boy decks. Just if you play big base power units, and just a lot of thrive, a lot of big, strong units for easy Sabbath, a big resilient target. I think both of these are really good. Obviously, these last two require you to have relics, but maybe just having these in your deck, and then this, maybe that is already enough. The 3 Crones are already kind of decent, so we'll see. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back on Tuesday for the Nilfgaard cards, which will be revealed on Monday and Tuesday. And until then, just have a good one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and just stay excited for new cards. I can also confirm, I think it's been pretty much confirmed at this point, that we are getting 21 Northern Realms reworks with the expansion. I've seen that around Reddit. It seems pretty much confirmed now. That's cool. That's cool. So if you weren't quite sold on the 4 new NR cards, maybe you'll change your tune once you see 21 reworks. Probably a lot of those will be mage related, I imagine. Maybe they're getting a spell tutor, right? Maybe Kira Metz becomes a spell tutor or something. Because she used to be that, right? She used to be a spell tutor? I think so. That'd be nice. It'd be nice. And hopefully we'll get a couple of reworks for every faction and some good balance changes. And this expansion should be a smashing success. I am hyped. I am really looking forward to this. It's going to be great. But I gotta go and get this video out to you guys, which obviously I already have since you're watching this, but for me right now, I have not. Bye. I gotta go. Relics. Base power.